Okay, so frog enclosure setup. Frogs make really good pets. You'll need a amphibian license in New South Wales, and whatever state or country you're in, you'll need to make sure you're following those guidelines. New South Wales, it's pretty cheap. I think it's $60 for 2 years, but we'll put the link in the description for where you can obtain the amphibian license, as well as a couple of for sale sites that you may be able to pick up some frogs from. So our enclosure, we've just got a glass enclosure. It's got a mesh top. We've got a light fitting hanging above with a 40-watt Phillips bulb in it. We have the dimensions of the enclosure. This one is 60 centimeters long, 45 centimeters deep, and 45 centimeters high. So you'll need a couple of pieces of equipment. Basically, you want a water dish, which you can get a fancy one from the pet store, or you can make your own one and cut it out. We just got a plastic storage tub from Bunnings or Woolworths or wherever. Bit of Tupperware kind of thing. So you pop the water dish in. We just did it somewhere in the middle. Then come down to our core peat moss stuff, which we soaked the other day, and just soaked that overnight. It was just simply one of these core peat blocks from Bunnings. We use the whole block, and just simply open it up and pop it in a bucket of water. And if you don't have enough water in there, put some more water in, leave it overnight. If you've got too much water in, when it comes in the morning, you just basically pick it up in your hand and kind of squeeze out any extra water. It doesn't matter if it's moist. Frogs like the moisture, so it goes in well. And yeah, basically we'll just pop this in the enclosure and fill it up. We'll use the whole block, and we'll fill up all the way around the water dish. So now that the substrate, we've put the substrate on the floor and got the water dish in, we just top that up. Just a bucket of water. Straight tap water is fine for these guys. They're not like fish, and they don't live in the water all the time. They're mostly out on land. So after you've got the water, you've got the substrate in, you find yourself a couple of branches. The weirder the better, I reckon. Just get some odd shape on this. You want them kind of in the water, on the land. You can kind of go artistic with it all. But just make sure you got plenty in there, because this is what the frogs are going to be living on there. Not called green tree frogs for no reason. Get them sticking up a bit so that they can get that heat at the top when they want to, and they can thermoregulate and move about. And then you can put some of these fake greenery plant in, just to give them a few hiding spots on the ground and make it all look nice and artistic-ish. And then the final finishing touch is putting the frogs in. Now, whenever you handle frogs, or your kids handle frogs, or whoever's handling the frogs, you want to wet your hands. The acid on your dry skin can hurt the frog's skin. So you just make sure you wet your hands, and that neutralizes the acid. Alright, so we have 3 frogs living in this enclosure, and they're all, 2 of them are about probably 3 to 4 years old, and the other one's about 7 years old. The green tree frogs will live to about 20 years in the wild, and they can grow quite large. So these ones still got a lot of growing to go. This one's the oldest one, he's about 7. And when you first get your green tree frog, they're going to be a little bit nervous when they go in and when they interact with one another. So they're not going to be green like this, or they may be if they're comfortable, but they do change to brown when they're uncomfortable, and they'll change back to green as they start to acclimatise a bit better. So you can see them all in there now. They cohabitate quite nicely. They like I said, they do grow quite large eventually, but they'll live for about 20 years. And in the wild, they've been. You can check out our Facebook page, Dragon Training Mobile Zoo. We've constantly put up pictures if we find them of these guys in the wild about this big, eating snakes or other large items. These guys, we'll feed these guys mainly on crickets, and you can just pop a whole box of crickets in there, and they'll chase around and devour them. You want to get the crickets fresh. Crickets do tend to die off, so as you can see, this one we got probably about 3 days ago. We fed them 3 days ago, but we didn't put all the crickets in. We left this in the box, and as you can see, they kind of all die. So it's better if you do put the crickets in straight away. You just tip the crickets in. You can put the whole box in if you've got like 3 frogs in there. The crickets will move about, and these guys will chase the crickets. It'll take them about a week to chase and eat all these crickets. Well, not all these ones. If it was a full box, it would take them about a week. We'll probably get another box of crickets for them in a day or two and pop them in. And that's something you can enjoy doing as well, just watching them jump around and eat crickets. It's quite exciting to watch. The glass will get dirty as well in the enclosures, because they're going to stick to the glass and move about, and their old dead skin's going to they do shed skin just like reptiles, so their skin's going to stick to it, or it's just going to mess it up and get dirty. So the way to clean it, you just get a bit of water, just a water spray bottle, and you just like rub it down with a cloth or a sponge or something. You don't want to use any like Windex or anything like that, and if you do use that, you just want to let it air out for a couple of days before you put the frogs in there, because you don't want the chemicals hurting their skin. Now we went over a different part of the video, the lighting. The lighting is we find very important where we are, because that's also going to, if they do pick up any fungus from handling on their skin, that lighting's going to burn it off, and they're not going to have any problems with fungus, which is what a lot of our native frogs in the Illawarra region or the lower New South Wales do have problems with, because they're from a colder area. The fungus tends to affect them and they can kill them, whereas these guys, they're pretty resilient to it because of the heat. So as long as you've got the heat up there, that will burn it off. And as you can see, the heat is above the wire, just so that they can't, it's not in the enclosure, so they can't get on the light bulb and burn themselves. It's a 40-watt bulb. We just use the Philips brand from Bunnings, just a heat bulb there. These guys do get in the sun. We take them out into the sun, and when you're handling frogs, you just want to make sure that you don't squeeze them. You kind of let them get comfortable in your hands. But if you're ever at one of our shows, you'll see how we do it, and we'll run you through it. So just make sure you hit us up when we get back out and start doing shows again once this virus is all done and dusted. Alright.